Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, a direct mail 2.0 company. And today I'm talking with Brad Bartlett. He is the president and owner of Opti Print and Fulfillment in Dallas, Texas. And we're going to be talking about lenticular printing and direct mail. Now, before we get started, if you have any questions or feedback, please comment in the box below. Show your support by tapping the like button. And to get notified of when we add new videos to the Who's Mailing What channel, click on subscribe. Now let's meet the mailers. Hi, Brad. Welcome to the program. How are you today?
Oh, Paul, I'm fabulous. Thank you for having me. I really consider it an opportunity, and I look forward to speaking with you.
You're welcome. So, why don't we get started by talking about your work life, how you got started with that, and if you had a background in printing and marketing?
Oh, great question. I did not. Interesting. My degrees, first time through college, were bachelor's and master's in music, of all things.
Oh,
And
wow.
then while I worked at the Coleman Company in Wichita, Kansas, the sporting goods people, they put me through Harvard. So I have a Harvard MBA. And what
Wow.
happened, I was working at Coleman and they had a takeover by Ron Perlman. And there were three of us that moved to Dallas, Texas, and bought a company called Score Group, which was a baseball, football, and hockey trading card company. And a part of that was OptiGraphics. And very quickly, I decided that I really enjoyed what they did and the products that they made. And so I transferred over to that. And that was some 36 years ago,
Okay.
and have been with them ever since. And OptiGraphics went through various different ownerships, and over the last 9 years, they've owned by myself. So that's been a fun journey for sure.
Well, why don't we start talking about OptiGraphics then and uh, how the company really pioneered lenticular printing, basically starting around 1970. Is that right?
Exactly, perfect. Yeah, so starting in 1970 is when OptiGraphics was formed, and it was formed by a man called Dick Hormel. And
Okay.
Dick Hormel worked in New York for a company called the Atlas Match Company, of all things.
Huh.
And what they did back in those days, matches were a big thing that had in restaurants.
Sure.
And so he had a kind of a specialty division of that, everything. And that included, at that time, specialty print, UV coating, embossing, maybe foil stamping on matchbook covers. He went to a show in Las Vegas, the PPAI show, and saw a company called Topan Printing out of Tokyo, and they were doing lenticular printing. And he absolutely became fascinated in it. Talked to the people. Long story short, went through the whole distribution rights, got that for all Latin America, South America, and all the United States in particular. And from that, formed a relationship with Topan that existed clear up until today. And he was granted all the machinery at one point, moved all that machinery from Japan over the United States, brought it to Dallas, Texas. And that's really how the company got started in lenticular printing.
Wow, that's really so. I can imagine just the logistics of moving everything thousands of
Yeah,
miles.
several container loads, as you can imagine.
Right, exactly. So for our audience who are people, across the direct mail ecosystem, a lot of marketers included in there. Why don't we back up a little bit and, can you explain what is lenticular printing and talk about the types of processes that are used for it?
Great question. So, lenticular printing in its strictest dictionary form would be the interlacing of images. So, taking
Mhm.
images and interlacing those to create an optical effect. And so, at a base level that most of our viewers, I'm sure, are familiar with, lenticular printing is what's usually called, oh, it's those winkies or that two-phase flip or whatever it does. And so it does like this, and it
Hmm.
changes from image one to image two. So image
Hmm.
one to image two. And so I think we're probably all familiar with that type thing. Obviously, the sophistication has grown over the years and that type of thing. And it really divides into kind of two different areas. The first area is what we call motion. This is very simple, obviously. a flip from one image to another. And then the other that is often seen is what is called 3D. And what 3D is a single image, but yet it has depth perception to it. So it almost looks like you can look around it. OptiGraphics actually is, and Topan was actually credited with the inventing of this process. Quite to the contrary, it's been around since the 1900s, but Topan had developed a unique process and really took it to the commercial marketplace. And I think that's what's made us so successful is that OptiGraphics has always been in that space of commercial. There are fine arts people that also do lenticular pieces. We do some of that as well. But OptiGraphics more known for the direct mail, the pieces that can be, mass produced and commercially available into the marketplace. We've had a long history with doing direct mail with the USPS. They've been our friends over the years, and we've won so many awards from them. One that I did find that as I was kind of looking through some of the archives is we were known as the most irresistible mail and direct mail people and next generation. So this is a piece right here that won right here with the UPS, the most irresistible mail award. As you can see, it's a beautiful piece, that type thing. And gosh, they've always made beautiful trophies. We get these
That is a nice trophy.
trophies and this type thing from the United States Post Office. But this piece was decorated quite a bit for that. It was a business to business piece, this type thing, and was sent through the mail. We also have done millions and millions and millions of postcards. We mail probably 10 to 15, 20,000 mail pieces every month. They're everything for this type of thing, which show, this type of thing of a flip to, commercially done pieces, this type thing, as well as this. Medical is one of our big things because, so many medical, pharmaceutical people, Lilly and all those people do direct mail. And so, this type of thing where it's got information on the back, and particularly when lenticular can tell a story. And we're going to talk about that, Paul, quite a bit.
Right.
I believe that lenticular is still an excellent vehicle, although it's been around for years and is often known as the Cracker Jacks toy. And we were the people that did that. We were the people that put it in cereal boxes and that type thing. But lenticular can tell a story. And whether it's, before or after, like we showed, on the direct mail piece for Lawn Doctor and that type of thing, to, people changing their logo, to especially in medical, where you can have, the disease was like this and you take the medicine and it goes to this. So lenticular can tell a really valuable story. And what makes it so great is the readership. We always talk about the 1/2 of 1%, right? Well, lenticular can garner anywhere from 4 to 7, 8, 10, 12% viewership. Plus the added benefit is the fact that they don't throw it away. They keep it. This type of thing can be kept for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. And that's been a real positive with lenticular direct mail.
Right. And so the type of processes used is like offset digital.
Yes. And so primarily it's interesting, although we have all the latest digital equipment, as you can imagine, it still today is primarily an offset UV printed facility. And so we have the great big Heidelberg, 2840, 12 color UV presses. We have smaller ones that also do UV printing, but the dot and the registration is so fine that we have found that offset is the vehicle that we use most often.
So how many different images can you use in a sequence?
Great
that
question.
creates
Yeah,
that sort of
I'm
motion.
showing you some of the real simple ones and this type of thing. We can go up to 10, 12, 14 different images. So you can really, we have a trademark called full motion video. Okay. So we can actually do full motion video and show multiple frames.
And you can create like morphing effects.
Exactly. Morphing, zooming, zoom in and out. Um,
Mhm.
oh, yeah,
Like
lateral, up, down,
animation.
that type thing. Yeah, just full motion video.
Hmm. So, thinking about like all the possibilities, there's a big question that, comes to the mind of a lot of people, important thing to consider. How much does it cost? And what kinds of, factors impact that consideration?
Yeah, exactly. Back in the old days, obviously, when you've been here like myself, 36 years, it actually used to be priced by how many images you would show on the card. Those days have gone because of the advancements in pre-press, as you can imagine. So it's not quite like a square inch or that type of thing. But what I would tell you is that when someone decides to use lenticular, it is a premium price product compared to your average cost of let's say a 9 by 6 postcard, done on 14 point paper that can cost, 8 to 12, 15 or 18 cents. The cost is going to be 3 to 4 times more than that. But what I would tell you is the people that use lenticular are number one, they're looking for it to tell a story, okay? And number two, they're wanting redemption. They're wanting, consumers to interact with that. And when they're used to, 1/2 of 1%, and they can get 5, 12, 18% redemption rates and that type of thing, it really makes it cost effective. Plus, they get it kept. It doesn't get thrown away.
Right. Yeah. So why don't we talk about that? Get a little more into that. Talking about the why, behind bringing static images to life. There are a lot of
Mhm.
print applications out there where you can understand why lenticular would stand out. Like signage, point of purchase displays, promotional materials, like drinkware, collectibles, packaging.
Absolutely.
Mail, obviously, and we'll talk about more about that in a second, more than we have
Mhm.
already. But why does it have an impact? Is it the visual appeal? Is it like you talked about the staying power?
Yeah, it's a great question, and in fact, it's kind of all those things combined. You
Hmm.
know, this year we've had an amazing year because of some of our great customers. We do a lot of work for people like Taylor Swift and that type thing. We know that she's been on tour this year. We
Hmm.
produced a lot of stuff for her. Here's one of her
Hmm.
old catalog. This type thing. We do our album covers and this type thing as well. But also, yes, obviously Taylor does it because of the visual appeal and this type thing. But here's another great example of something that won a Grammy a couple of years ago for an album cover. So we're all familiar with album jackets and this type
Hmm.
of thing. Well, look at the visual appeal of this one. So this is Caroline Rose, The Art of Forgetting.
Hmm.
You'll see this is actually 3D with animation included in it. So
Wow.
the visual appeal of this type thing is absolutely amazing. And so people were saying, wow, that is really unusual, really a new technique. But guys, just to kind of show you an example, back in the day, we were doing stuff for Kiss and this type
Right.
thing as well. So their album jackets, so you can see this type thing. So yes, the visual appeal, again, wanting to show motion, wanting to show animation, and the staying power, obviously collectability on a lot of these type things as well.
Right. And I've seen some great press you've gotten about, your music connections, which have
Yeah,
been parlayed into this line of business. And, it occurs to me like with how millennials and Gen Z, have this real affinity for uh, analog, music more in an analog form, LP records, making a comeback now, selling more than the last couple of years, selling more than CDs, which are declining. And like there's, an amazing opportunity there for a
yeah,
lot of like artists, even like, legacy artists who have, their back catalog, with they could reissue with, this kind of jacket format.
yeah. And maybe some of that, in all fairness, Paul, is because of my background. I have,
Mhm.
like I said, two bachelors and a master's in music. I I still play drums, believe it or not. I play here in Dallas,
Awesome.
Texas. If you're going to work, you play in tribute bands. So I play
Hmm.
Ringo and I play Charlie Watts, so Stones and
Oh,
Beatles music,
awesome.
that type thing. But also, I think I'm able to speak to those people and that type thing. I
Right.
think that's really helped me with Taylor and her people.
Hmm.
Gosh, we do Demi Lovato, we do Queen, we do all these different ones. I mean, I can show you a bunch of them if you want to see some samples. But what I would tell you is that we just finished right now, literally a week ago, a whole bunch of stuff for the Rolling Stones for 2026.
Hmm.
And I think I understand the whole music genre. I, I think I can talk musician, and I think that helps us at OptiGraphics because, it's a different process, and they want to be talked through, how it's going to work, how they create the artwork, a little bit of the technical side of it as well.
Right, right, right. So, talking about direct mail and getting into that a little bit,
Mhm.
um, you offer variable data direct mail?
Yes, we're one of the few people that can do that. We have a brand new press that we just installed this year that truly is amazing. It's kind
Hmm.
of a hybrid between digital and offset, and we're able to do variable direct mail. It's something that we really pioneered this last year, and we're really going to push it this year. So
Hmm.
not only, yes, can it be on the back, so when people are addressing the pieces and this type thing, that
Hmm.
we can, put this in and actually personalize it with their name and that type thing. But also we can also variable image the front as well,
Wow.
which
Okay,
is
cool.
very unique. So yes, it could say, "Hi, Paul, does your grass look like this?" And you want it to look
Hmm.
like this, that type of
Hmm.
thing. So that is really a breakthrough that I would tell you it's technological, and it's frankly because of the new press.
Yeah, I could see like a lot of applications for that in all kinds of different
Oh, amazing.
industries. It's got to be pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're excited to say the least.
So, are there minimum quantities for that kind of thing? Is this
You
something
know,
that you can?
it's interesting. Back in the day, the quantities used to be pretty darn big, but the
Yeah.
great news now is that because of we have a small offset press that prints a 14 by 20 inch sheet, that type thing. Our minimum's down to 250 pieces.
Okay.
So
Right.
yeah, it's very small where it used to be thousands and that type thing.
Hmm.
So that makes it appealing, obviously, for people to do smaller things. And also, it's really helped us. We'll show you some other things too, as far as going out to influencers and that type thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's a big buzzword we know because of social
Yeah.
media and that type thing. But to give them something that is highly personalized is truly a breakthrough.
Yeah. Exactly. Are there USPS regulations or specifications that you have to think about when you're planning a campaign like that?
Absolutely. And that's the great thing because, you know, obviously we have, we work with mail any permits and all this type of thing. So we can mail for all over the place. But our relationship with the USPS is about as sound as any company I've ever known. We
Right.
take products to
Hmm.
them, we have them test them for us. They give us suggestions on how to do it and that type of thing, all the way from barcodes to informed mail to all
Right.
this mail tracking and all that type of stuff. We are absolutely on the cutting edge. And I will tell you that, yes, lenticular works with all those different medias, but also they have been so helpful with us. Fabulous
Hmm.
partners to work with, really are.
Hmm. Right. And that also, of course, ties in with the irresistible mail as well, obviously.
Hmm.
And so, are there incentives that USPS is going to offer in 2026 that will allow somebody to incorporate lenticular printing in their mail campaigns?
Absolutely. The one
Hmm.
that, people always ask for and usually are used the most, of course, is, price. Okay. And
Yeah.
so they offer discounts throughout the year at various different times that gives them a unique postage rate because we obviously were, bulk, first class, standard, et cetera, and all that stuff. But they will offer discounts. But also, they've been working some places where during special times of the year, they will offer special incentives for unusual mailers. and we've been able to take advantage of those as well. I want to show you one. I think you'd enjoy this. You know, we've spent a lot of time on lenticular, and that, make no mistake, Paul, that's our bell cow. That's what we're known for. When you've been doing something for 56 years, as I always say, if we've been doing it that long, we ought to be good at it by now, to say the least.
Exactly.
But we've also kind of expanded our product category into two different areas. One, not as much in direct mail, but I do want to mention it, and that's OptiChrome, because I think a lot of your people maybe have seen these type of things, like Delta airline cards and this type of thing. So it's a chromium product used for very high-end stuff. You can imagine Taylor uses this a lot in this type of thing. I'm sure a lot of our readers have flown on the Delta jets and seen the trading cards and that type of thing. So that has also been used in direct mail. But this one won the most irresistible mail award, and I want to show this to you too, because it was unusual. I'll make a real quick story. One of the things that OptiGraphics has always been used for is innovation and cutting edge things that, frankly, no one else ever had. And so a few years back, an agency came to us out of New York and Toronto and said, you know, Brad, we want to do direct mail and we want to do magazine inserts, and we're going to introduce a new product into the marketplace to compete with a powdered drink, only this is going to be liquid. And Paul, what they said to us, they said, you know, we want to run magazine ads and do direct mail that has a relationship with water. We want water to be an integral part of it. And like you, Paul, I at the same time, I went, okay, well, we can make, like, you know, lenticular waterfalls and that type of things. They said, no. We want the ad to, and the direct mail piece to interact with water, because that's our point of differentiation with the product. So like you go, wow, let's see, direct mail with water. What could we do? And so through about a 2 to 2.5 month process, we worked with our ink manufacturers and various different coating peoples and that type of thing. And we invented a process that we have patented called water reveal. And this won one of the most irresistible mail awards with the United States Post Office. I wanted to show that to you. We have it in various different forms, but this is the piece that actually won the most irresistible mail award. And it was for Baylor University right here in Texas. We're obviously, I don't think I said this, we're located in Dallas. Yes. So this was a water reveal card. And so this was a direct mail piece for Baylor University, and they wanted to show water as well. And so I want to show this to all the viewers here. So here's the piece right here. I have just an actual spray bottle here, but if you take this and spray the piece, up comes a message like this right here. And that was, you know, groundbreaking and this type of thing. Especially they use this for college recruitment. So they send it out, you know, in June, July, and that type of thing. Their football stadium happens to be right on the Brazos River, and so they wanted to show that type of thing. Gosh, we've used this thing right now. It tends to be the flavor of the month right now with cosmetic companies, because, you know, they're using water in this type of thing. Here's a direct mail piece, this right here, and on the front, here's the piece. And you spray the piece, and it shows a message, this type of thing. Here's a larger direct mail piece. Here's the back of it right here. Here's this right here. And you spray this area right here. And up comes the message there as well. So it's very unique. I mean, it's had, you know, other things other than direct mail, as you can imagine. Wonderland, the Carnival Cruise Line, that type of thing. You spray their menu, and it comes up, you know, their menu there in their Wonderland and that type of thing. But I would tell you right now, it's all about cosmetics and them using this, as well as colleges and this type of thing, using direct mail with water reveal. Again, we talked about that even with lenticular, but what we try to do at OptiGraphics is we try to match the message that they're trying to send
Hmm.
with a technology.
Right, right,
And that's important because, people can look at water reveal and say, wow, that's really cool. But if it's a medical piece and they're trying to show, pills or this type of thing, other than the fact, I guess you take a pill with water or that type of thing, it really doesn't make any sense. But cosmetic companies, they're using water is so much this whole hydration thing. And with
right.
their influencers and this type of thing, we've got several programs going right now. And boy, I tell you what, the cosmetic companies, Garner, all these type of people, they love water reveal because it makes it interactive with the customer and it tells a story by using the water.
Right. Yeah. I love that. I mean, it's really like a great way to tie in the story that you're telling, but really bolster the story with the physical effects
Absolutely.
of the mail piece.
I mean, we all know that in the direct mail business, we're competing with digital. Okay.
Yep.
I mean, that's just reality, and that's
Yes.
okay. And
Yeah.
so, constantly we hear digital. Well, digital is so interactive. I mean, I can put it, and they get to see animation and motion and this type of thing. And so that's what we talk about in direct mail. We have got to compete against that. And the way
Hmm.
that we do it here at OptiGraphics is with the animation that we've been talking about, lenticular, making it
Hmm.
interactive, getting the person to have to interact with the direct mail piece so
Right.
that we have a connection there that goes
Hmm.
beyond just looking at it and throwing it in the trash can because we don't want
Hmm.
that.
Yep. It's the power of interruption from whatever
It
they're
really
doing. It
is.
makes them stop. So we have about 5 minutes left, and I wanted to pose a question which I usually ask people that I talk with, and that is, have you received a mail piece recently that really made you stop and pay attention to it, and maybe even responded to it?
I have. I'm. I have, as you can imagine, if you're a guy that can invent things like water reveal, I have
Hmm.
almost childlike curiosity about things,
Hmm.
you know? And and one of the things that we've seen recently that I saw that I actually really liked was just a simple scratch off. I mean,
Ah,
believe it
okay.
or not, but the ability to use that type of thing, we make them that type of thing, but
Hmm.
to use scratch offs, I thought that was highly interactive just because of the fact that it allowed you to see different windows and that type of thing.
Right.
Another thing that I saw that we also do that I like as far as direct mail, and this happens to be one of our pieces, but I thought it was really well done, is red reveal. We have a whole reveal series, water
Right.
reveal kind of being the bell cow. But there is a whole marketplace, as you know, for red reveal and this type of thing. Here's one that we did. And
Okay.
and to use the old red reveal glasses, I mean,
Hmm.
gosh, we knew those when we were kids, that type, but to come back and use this type of thing and do scramble messages as well as 3D. There's one right there. And let's see, I saw one other one that I really enjoyed. Yes, right here. Here's one that I thought was a really good job as well. And it's using 3D and using red and blue ones to make 3D concepts. And obviously we do this. And those are the ones that I really have caught my eye that I thought were, kind of what's old is new and that type of thing. But it
Right.
made you stop and go, wow, let me interact with that. And I love
Right.
that.
Right. Yeah, I love that too. Well, that's really a great rundown of everything that you've done. And at Who's Mailing What and Direct Mail 2.0, we're all about helping people with their needs and their wants with direct mail. We've talked about, some of that today. How can people get in contact with you or OptiGraphics to find out more about your products and your solutions?
Fabulous. Great thing there. And I just so much agree. And I love what you're doing, Paul. What you're doing is fabulous. I mean, to get
Thank
that
you.
message out there, it's hard to do. And I appreciate the opportunity as well. Okay.
You're
So
welcome.
obviously the website, www.aptographics.com. is a great
Mhm.
way to get a hold of us. We're currently on the newsstands. I think I showed this to you as well.
Yes. Yep.
Graphics Pro magazine, this type of thing. I'm speaking at their conventions right now. Great
Hmm.
company and this type of thing. I guess I was a cover boy here for one of the issues, but there's an
Right. Good
excellent
article.
article in there about all the things that we're doing for Taylor Swift and that type thing, and also all the direct mail pieces as well. We kind of pride ourselves on doing a lot of work with high profile clients. And so this
Gotcha.
is a great way. There's lots of information and this type of thing. It'll direct you to the website as well. But
Okay.
I think this is just, you know, getting the word out. I mean, we all work with budgets. We understand that every day here at
Sure.
OptiGraphics. But I would tell you that mail can do so much more than just a paper postcard.
Right.
And so what I would tell everybody watching this is I want you to open up and consider things. I understand budget, but when the message makes for one of these vehicles that we've shown today, it can be a fabulous vehicle for you, and you won't believe the results. It's unbelievable.
Right. So well said. Well, thank you so much again, Brad Bartlett of OptiGraphics, for being a guest on Meet the Mailers today. And thank you all out there for joining us today. And remember that questions and feedback are welcome. You can tap those like and subscribe buttons. And if you want to be highlighted in a future Meet the Mailers, please reach out to me. My contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. And we can talk about how your company, your solutions, and your thought leadership can all be showcased. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you next time.